Masks, masks, get your masks here. We have all kinds. The face, the friend, the fiend, the follower, the fab, the faithful, the fair, the favoured, the fearless, and many more. What a wonderful day to get a mask. Try one of the 16 Orcadian modes of conduct. Sir!
Yes?
Do you fancy yourself in a forceful mood this fine wet Vember morning?
Well, I don't need any new masks, I just use the 3.
Well, your face mask, sir, if I may say so, sir, looks worn. Fabulous last century, but this is the new millennium. One should try out new faces for a new age. Listen, the Orcadians, or perhaps you do not think highly of them. That's fine, yes. A stuffy and rules-bound people. You're a party animal, I can see that.
Well, I have always seen myself as a bit of a rogue.
Ah, there it is. I can always tell, on the party worlds of Wetrock and Dripveer, they have only 2 masks. Here, have a look. These came in just this week, but they are powerful, sir. Powerful indeed. Take a gander. Feel the material.
Well, that beard is a tad excessive, isn't it? I myself do not possess much in the way of...
It's aspirational, sir. Aspirational and, indeed, inspirational. They call this mask the forthright on the party worlds. You see, there is clear glass in the eye holes, so the world can see the true measure of your soul.
Sorry, clear glass?
Indeed, sir.
So wait, people could just see my eyes, just look at the colour of my eyes, the area around my eyes.
Well, it's very roguish, isn't it? A little bit, pardon my Drobgonian here, a little bit sexy, isn't it?
That's obscene. No, I don't want any part of this kind of perversion, thank you.
But, sir, if you'll just look, I have some other wares you may be interested in.
No, thank you.
Okay, Vincent, all right. You tried your best. You'll try again, it'll be all right. You are a valid human being in a large universe, and you are enough. One more try. Another fine day for a mask. Replace your old one with a new one. We have all kinds. Orcadian, Drobgonian, Mantarim, everything in between. Show the world your best side at Masks Aplenty. Masks for sale. Sir, come here.
Welcome to Mythtakes Happen, the world's finest world-building podcast. I'm Chris, a peerless Imagineer.
And I'm Aaron, a fantabulous wondermaker. Each season, we create a new TTRPG setting and supplementary materials set in a fantastical world of our own making.
This is Season 2, where we talk about the watery star system of the Celestial Deep. Like, subscribe, and review the podcast, or join our Patreon for exclusive and wondrous rewards.
We are both recording this on the lands of the indigenous people of our great southern continent, and we acknowledge the traditional owners of these places.
And with that, let's get started. This is true, life isn't fair, but it's not unfair. It's not anything.
It ought to be fair.
It's a spectrum.
And we should be trying to make it fair, but we don't succeed.
For the right kind of people, am I right? People who love Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey!
The demographic that is most likely to be progressive, I guess.
Probably.
I've met some right-wing Dungeons and Dragons players.
Yeah, but they're like right-wing Star Trek nerds. They're just getting it wrong.
They're just wrong. You heard it here, folks. If you are right of center in any capacity, you're wrong. Right is wrong. Left is right. It's a topsy-turvy world.
Oh, anyway. Speaking of D&D, hey, guess who has a new campaign?
Oh my God, is it? It's the what's his? Mr. Beast. Is it Mr. Beast?
No. I've got a new campaign.
Oh, you've got a new campaign.
A new D&D campaign.
Yeah. Oh my God, tell me about it. Is it good?
Well, it's some players I know very well who some of them moved away and have moved back, and some of them are also our patrons. And
oh my God, thank you.
They have asked to run a short campaign in Haliacon.
Yeah. Oh my God, fantastic. And of course, like now you ran this past our lawyers that this is okay in terms of copyright, in terms of, yes?
We have a lawyer?
I mean, like one of us could pretend to be a lawyer.
It's true, yes. I know a little bit of Latin.
AI has come a really long way, and it's current hallucinations are really funny. So maybe you could get like a chat GPT or like a DeepSeek to pretend to be our lawyer.
Yeah, but then just declare yourself Mecha Hitler and try to kill me. So I'm going to try and avoid that.
Are you the right demographic for a Mecha Hitler?
No, but yeah. Anyway, so they want to play in Haliacon, and I want to tell you about it.
Tell me about it, yeah.
They want to do something sort of Cold War-ish, but also with some like weird magical anomalies. So I'm sort of calling it like half Atomic Blonde, half SCP.
Okay.
I'm going to have them working for like a bureau within the Unfettered League's war department called the Bureau of Aberrant Solutions.
Ooh, I like the sound of that a lot.
And their characters are already just so exciting. So we've got 3 players. We've got one character who she's playing a changeling who is disguised himself as a human and have gotten into this intelligence bureau for the Unfettered League. But her whole family of changelings are centuries long. Their whole family are anarchists. They're currently associating themselves with the illegitimate children, but they predate the illegitimate children by potentially millennia because one of their earliest ancestors used, she's playing a Wefton Frey wizard, and like Wefton Frey is sort of built into their backstory because they've made a magical embroidery that allows one of them to transform into a masked monk who, back in the prehistory, was known as the Toppler of Kingdoms and one of Gruvold's saints.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my Gruvold. I like that a lot. It has to be said that people coming into this episode 4 have just heard you string a bunch of words together that make no sense, such as Haliacon, Changeling, Wefton Frey, Gruvold. And I must say that I don't care about their comfort at all. They should go back to episode 1 of season 1, and then they will find out everything except about changelings. They won't find out about changelings. They have to go
to the Eberron book for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, and it's only going to get worse because we've got a dreaming gnome who's a trancer who, once they sort of got out of their orphanage and started living using their abilities and the bits and pieces, one day, or potentially night, simply fell into a sleep and slept for an extraordinarily long period of time. But when they eventually woke up, not having aged a day, they've brought with them something from the dream that is now a real object.
Is it something naughty?
It is a diadem. That they can use. At the moment, they're just scratching a fraction of its power that allows them to, essentially guides them into non-gnome dreams and helps them sort of manipulate them. But I intend to do some fun stuff with that in the future.
That's brilliant. I like that.
I had a lot of fun actually coming up with the rules for trances. So with the whole idea of making magic difficult and costly, you have to enter your half asleep trance, which means you sort of wander around suffering penalties to some of your saving throws because you're half asleep, and every time you cast a spell there's a chance that you just fall unconscious.
You know what that is? That is sleepy time drunken boxing.
Yes, and then just to make it sort of keeping it fun, because it's a sorcerer, I gave them a subclass specific meta magic that allows them to spend a sorcery point to cast magic even whilst unconscious. So you can be lying there, people just hitting you repeatedly, getting automatic critical hits, but at least you're still able to cast spells.
That's really good. I love that. That sounds like a character that I would like to play.
At sort of significantly higher levels, you start getting the ability to just sort of like, oh, that's right, you don't lose concentration either. So you can theoretically do things like, I cast levitate on myself, so now I'm up in a corner and I've just passed out. But that's all right. There's just the floating gnome in a corner that you can just deal with. And at higher levels, I have the ability to like float around naturally.
People hate the floating gnome paradigm, but that is what success is built on.
We've started discussing there may be a small subculture of people who believe they've seen the unidentified flying gnome, and they've started to get. And our final character is, to my true and genuine delight, someone decided to play a symphomortologist.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, thank God.
Yep, yes, right. I mean, we went to so much trouble. So it's an alternate bard who can't use their hands for anything other than the most basic of tasks.
No joke in it.
No, and they've made an elf that grew up on the streets, sort of adopted, kind of indoctrinated by a wealthy elite unfettered league family who discovered her genius for music, entered her into the Guild of Conductors, and encouraged her to undergo a unique procedure where a former genius symphomortologist who was a tiefling, well, they've engraved runes in her horns after she's passed on and have screwed those horns into this elf's head to try and continue that genius.
Now, is that cultural appropriation? Wait, is that...
I think it's just bodily appropriation.
Is that a little bit like blackface?
No, because nobody's...
Sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody's wearing horns to pretend to be a tiefling.
But she could pretend to be a tiefling with the horns. People would just assume.
We've already got a changeling pretending to be somebody else. But yes, no, it's a very deeply messed up group of...
I really like this, yeah.
Unstable people.
No, that's awesome.
Unstable characters. Sorry, the players are also definitely unstable, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing, man.
Yeah,
that's really good. I love hearing about this, and I hope there is more to come in the future.
Sure, maybe I'll do a little separate episode update thing with the players' permission. Ready, setting, go. So what are we doing today, Chris?
God, we're back into the idea mines of Mythtakes Happen, this podcast that we're doing. I'm always confused as to whether this is a podcast or a radio show. I think people can hear me, but only people who are in this building that I'm in, which is my house.
I'm not sure whether I'm on AM, FM, or TM.
Or any M. I know you are a GM.
Yes.
Or a DM.
So what did we talk about last episode? I think the big thing last episode was masks.
Yeah, I think masks was a big thing that we talked about. Everyone wears a mask, or most people wear masks because of a cool myth that may or may not be have grains of truth in it about face stealers.
Yeah.
Which you morphed into like a destroyers of progress.
Yes.
Which
or at least that's sort of the general theme, and there's potentially something behind it, maybe something to do with the outlier stations. Yeah, some cool stuff. And it radically changes some of the visuals to the world in a really cool and interesting way.
You know, one of the things aesthetically I really enjoyed bringing it back to the real world of Warhammer is that, in Warhammer Fantasy, the dwarf Ironbreakers,
oh yes,
they used to have like the full on face masks, and then like they had like the molded
beard
beards.
armor that was also a beard.
Armor.
Yes,
yeah,
it's fantastic.
And we came to beard armor in our myth information.
Yes,
yeah,
we did,
which was a kind of a weird and roundabout way of getting to the perfect aesthetic.
Yes, and I think we achieved it. I think you and
my sentence. Sometimes I start a sentence, and
we also
I think,
you
my brain
explored
knows where
some
it's
more
going,
worlds of the
but it
Cold
doesn't.
Pact.
I did. I remember that.
And you gave us our first science fiction, not magic user.
Yeah, the Surge Sayers.
Yeah.
It was. I was basically like, how do we make less flashy, slightly shittier version of the Jedi?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm seeing it as kind of, in a lot of science fiction settings, you sort of get away with psionics, despite the fact that, let's face it, brain meat magic. But putting in a new and interesting spin on it, which actually, now I think about it, is not dissimilar to the Jedi. So yeah, okay, that's same page.
Now you introduced the Strom.
I did.
The Strom trading fleet, and they had fallen on hard times because of some Leviathan shenanigans. Acts of kindness. Yeah, that's right.
And now they are the sort of foremost smuggling group.
And they may very well be investigating a conspiracy to control the Great Leviathans. You also introduced us to heat vampires, which I really like. I've been thinking about them, actually. There might be something next episode that I have to say about them, not this episode. But yeah, oh my gosh, your icebreakers, the Indarkened Order of the Frigerati?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, the Refrigerati. That was just the Frigerati, wasn't it? Yes.
No, it was the the Frigerati.
Not the Refrigerati.
Not the No, they're a successor to this group.
Yes, a breakaway sect.
Yeah, and I think there's like a lot of scope there. I think a lot of the stuff I was thinking about, actually, one of my big mental blocks until recently was talking about, which we haven't done for a while, a monstrous myth take, and all the ideas that I was coming up with were just like different evil fish. They were just different evil fish, and I kept thinking, oh man, there's like a lot of things to put in the water that's a fish, isn't there? And then I was like, oh no, wait, we do actually have worlds, and we haven't really populated them with any terrestrial monsters.
No, we haven't.
So yeah, there's a lot of scope there that I've started thinking about as
fish.
well. And it was actually your heat vampires that made me think about it, because I was like, vampires aren't fish.
It's true. And except sometimes, I suppose, when they are. I do love the fact that in season 2 you're struggling not to do fish, whereas in season 1 you're just perfectly happy to do eagle after eagle.
Eagle after eagle after eagle. Well, we haven't done a lot of monster stuff in this one at all. So perhaps that's something to focus on soon. I do have a lot of my monsters are ants. This season, it's just going to be ants. I don't think we have defined any birds. Where would they live? In the water? Yes. Eagles?
And pet penguins are a thing.
Eagles are back.
Eagles are back. Yay.
Eagles are back. Okay.
Deep eagles.
Deep eagles. Deagles.
I think that's a pretty good ready, setting, go.
That's a good ready, setting, go. We need to get on it, man.
Let's get on our fodder. That's going to be the new cool phrase, to get on your fodder.
Get on your fodder, mate.
Yes, I'm doing a sort of hand gesture that I'm not sure.
Aaron's doing a hand gesture. It doesn't look obscene, and it doesn't look Hitlery at all.
Or cool. I'll be honest with you, it's not cool.
That goes without saying, Aaron.
Yeah, that is true.
It's time for Fable Fodder.
Fable Fodder. I've got one here on the personal weapons of the deep. Bit of a meat and potatoes, just some sort of setting the groundwork potentially for future stuff, and very much for the actual pen and paper role-playing side of things.
Are any of the weapons meat or potato-based weapons?
No, but you could use them to eat meat and potatoes with.
I feel like you can use a lot of things to eat meat and potatoes with.
That doesn't make what I said untrue.
I guess. All right.
The hostility has started already. I love it. It is a rare person who does not carry a knife, even those that never venture out into the deep. From a time when climbing a rope just to get around your home cave was common, to the modern hazards of the deep, a knife has long been a necessary tool. There are countless designs, with individual cultures on planets often having incredibly dissimilar shapes and materials. From the Mantarum clockwork retractable forearm knife to the long acid-etched Verbaton tooth daggers. From narrow, regenerating Orcadian spike shrooms to the awfully sharp obsidian knives from Bishaka. Still, there are some commonalities that are seen on the average knife in the deep. A blade that is at least as long as a handle, but not much longer. A hook or a notch with a bladed interior to make it easy to cut rope and line. And a flat tip that can be used to hammer and pry. Knives are considered a tool as much of a weapon, so it is rare to ever be asked to surrender them, even in peaceful spaces. Spears and tridents are similarly varied, ubiquitous, and acceptable in most common areas when carried with care. Crossbows and similar torsion-powered projectile weapons are utilized for defense and hunting in the water, but cannot be legally carried in many worlds of the Corwood Pact, and elsewhere are at the minimum a sign of a dangerous person. Some cultures have swords and polearms specific to them that are still used, but are generally seen as something increasingly archaic in this modern age. While various explosives have long existed and are used in battle and hunting to a small degree, it has only been in the form of thrown or placed or deployed devices. Wandering around with these sorts of things will provoke comment in all but the most violent and lawless places, and in most will just have harsh penalties. In recent years, the development of several weapons that utilize compressed air, either to fire a projectile or to be expelled directly into a target. Electricity is also beginning to be used for lethal and less than lethal melee weapons, but attempts to make a reliable ranged weapon out of it has not yet been successful. Reactions vary wildly to these experimental and new weapons, and most commonly they're not even recognized for what they are or simply mistaken for another device altogether. And of course, there are the strange things that some marinauts discover and recover from the outlier stations. not the most exciting thing in the world, although I did have fun going through your list of core worlds and trying to work out what kind of knives would they have.
No, that's really good. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we need, right? Like, I was thinking about this actually. I really like these descriptions. Actually, I feel like I'm going to add to that a little bit. Oh, I'm not doing very well with the hostility, am I? Sorry. Let me back up.
You hate it. Yep.
I hate knives.
Mm-hmm.
They're stupid. No, I don't even use a butter knife. I just get the butter out with my hand.
Like a good God-fearing man.
I was thinking the other day before, like when we did the previous recording for episode 3, when I was describing like the different worlds. That's not necessarily what I want to be talking about, but without the groundwork for a lot of this stuff, it's just nothing. You know, like we need some way to ground
the weird and wonderful stuff that often
right.
gets us super excited.
Yeah, so like for you, maybe the knife stuff is not exciting, but it's vital for a game. Like we need to imagine ourselves in this world. What are we imagining ourselves in? And like from those descriptions, I get you have blades, you get this, you get weapons, electric weapons. I'm getting like harpoon ideas, like all this kind of stuff. I think is very cool.
Yeah. It's, as I say, sometimes you just got to have your meat potato so you can have dessert. Which is like heat vampires and other weird shit.
The dessert is heat vampires.
Yeah, it's true.
Brilliant.
Only they eat you.
No.
What have you got for us, Chris?
Aaron, I would like to talk to you today about ants. I'm going to talk more about ants.
Would you like me to be surprised? Because I can go back and I can be surprised.
Yeah, can you?
Wait. Yeah, all right.
Okay. I'm going to talk about ants.
Ants?
Ants in your pants. Actually, you wouldn't want these guys in your pants. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Ooh. Oh.
Aaron, let me tell you about the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement, or the inner ant sovereignty.
Okay.
Of all the ants which call the celestial deep home, the most intelligent and therefore most worrying are those who consider themselves citizens of the gargantuan megacolony known as the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement. Orbiting the luminous void closer than any other habitable structure, the colony is a colossal stone fortress of jagged edges and upsetting geometries unpleasant to the human eye. And yet, it is home of the most successful non-human civilization in the celestial deep, and host to several trillion optimals, as the ants of the sovereignty call themselves. The artificial planetoid of the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement, constructed of unknown materials using only speculated upon methods, sticks close to the luminous void. The light and heat expelled from the void is harvested by legions of lustrous formicants, which swarm the exterior of the colony. Their black glass bodies process the energy and return it to the accumulator hives which pockmark the surface of the planetary body. Within the arrangement, a vast and claustrophobic warren of tunnels choked thick with countless pheromones houses one of the greatest civilizations in the history of the universe. The Optimals were once a warlike culture, focused on consuming resources to fuel their expanding hives, and many early encounters between them and humanity ended poorly. Historians estimate that the rise of humanity in the celestial deep would have occurred much sooner were it not for the genocide or resource depletion fleets of these ancient ants. Coinciding with a bloom of human-populated planetoids several thousand years ago was also the physio-social development which curtailed much of the sovereignty's earlier excesses. Scientician-cased ants of the past recognized that their very natures were problematic and their way of life unsustainable. Resources were not infinite, and their constant warring placed the arrangement always on the verge of collapse. And history in this place is littered with millions of kingdoms, empires, republics, co-ops, great realms and dominions, and ever-shifting political powers, constantly at war. And then suddenly, it isn't. Something changes in the inner ant sovereignty. Within a few short decades, the exploratory exploitation armadas retreat from the deep, and the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement is born. Though no human is privy to this knowledge, the swift turnaround was a direct result of a new synthetic pheromone released into the pits and burrows of the homeworld by a conspiracy of scientician-cased revolutionaries. Modern ants are still somewhat alien in temperament and indifferent to the well-being of humans, but they are no longer driven to wipe out every cave-dwelling ape in the deep. Their attitude to other ants remains passively hostile, but they are not compelled to particular cruelty or pointless devastation. In this way, the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement is a hermit kingdom, responding to threats only as they arise. Their chemical and ant-powered pseudo-technologies have proven to exceed the material sciences of the core word worlds. The brief 11-minute incident some 2 centuries ago showed Mantarum the folly of attempting to provoke the sovereignty with the almost instantaneous destruction of approximately 8,000 military vessels. The optimals of the arrangement rarely venture out of their colony, and those who do deal with humans are reluctant to talk about their histories, cultures, and politics. It appears there is some grave taboo against it, an almost physical inability to articulate any specifics about their home.
An ancient and not quite fallen grand civilization that's capable of destroying 8,000 military vessels.
Yep.
And out of that entire truly marvelous and inspiring notion, the idea of the weird little solar-powered battery ants is what really sticks with me, and the idea that you can take a little ant and then you sort of plug it into your device and it charges it up is really cute.
So this actually, this idea of like everything in the ant world being like so interconnected came from you, right? It was was this episode 1? I think it must have been episode 1 where I made up all these facts about ants, and you were like, well, maybe not. Hashtag not all ants. And we have like the varying levels of intelligence and stuff like that. And some of them act as, like information processors. Some of them act as whatever. So I thought, well, why not, how yeah, that's right. Like, how would that civilization work?
And it means because they've got a seemingly endless supply of energy. And as ants are able to essentially turn that energy into food and for an entire hive, they don't need to continue. And I do love the notion that a whole bunch of scientician ants went, we are a species ever on the brink of collapse, let's just do a weird science coup.
Essentially it's if climate scientists decided that they had the power to do something about it.
We're able to push climate awareness forcefully into every human's head.
Pretty much, yeah. And I find that notion really interesting, and like the idea of like PCs being representatives of this particular civilization, maybe how, and also like if we define it a little further, there obviously is contact between this civilization and humans, but it would be extremely rare, and I would say that like it would not be super porous, but there would be I'm sure there would be like outliers of these people, these ants who do venture outside of their hermit kingdom.
It's also very interesting because surely as humanity becomes to understand just how tremendously advanced these ants are, these optimals, and how long they've been that way, that there must be an idea of like, well, fantastic, we can learn from them, we can gain access to their technology, but their technology is so vastly different to human technology to the point of being entirely unusable. Well, here are our carpenter ants, which are carpenter ants.
They make chairs.
Yeah, but like humans don't have the ability to produce pheromones naturally, so they've got to.
How can we fart a solution into being?
Although something like battery ants could be something that spreads, that yes, you just need to give your colony a certain amount of exposure to the luminous void, and you have essentially a small amount of free energy constantly that you can then plug into your your flashlights. You just, this ant's dead, have you someone got a new ant? Well, I did, I put him in a drawer, but it crawled out and went somewhere else because it's a king ant.
But of course, they're also dealing with the reality of the luminous void
beginning to fade.
So what changes will this have on this civilization? I don't know. We'll find out.
Maybe they're just going, hey, we'll be the last. We're the closest to the luminous void. When everybody else is dead and cold and in the dark, we'll shut the door and close out the deep.
That's interesting. Like, maybe that is their philosophy. I don't mind the sound of that, but we can explore that later.
Indeed we can. All right. I've got just one more piece. Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right. This section is called The Old Man and the Bleeding Moon.
Okay.
On the edge of the borders of the Corward Pact lies a pair of celestial bodies twirling slowly around one another in the inexorable dance of gravity. They are so alike, yet their few differences are stark. Each is small for a planet, but enormous for a moon, and both share wide bands of colour that stripe their surface. On the first, rivers of lava flow and congeal across the surface of black rock and shadowed glass. forever locked in a tectonically unstable frenzy of magma, while the other is composed primarily of grey stone and striped with vast clear tubes filled with the deep's most precious substance, slurbrine, its blue glow throbbing slowly in time with the vast Leviathan's pulse. The planet is Vishaka, and the Leviathan is Never the Throes of Glory. So, Vishaka and Kimber Station. Perhaps at one time, Vishaka was simply a world like any other, just small. But the presence of Never the Throes of Glory and its near equal gravity twists and pulls at it, shaping it into the hellish world of lava and vast mineral wealth that it is today. It is the latter that has brought people to Vishaka. Metals, minerals, and gems, both rare and common, can be found in abundance by simply scraping the ever-renewing surface, a method of mining that is as simple as it is dangerous. The waters around Vishaka are warm, but far too toxic with mineral pollutants to sustain anything except the hardiest of deep life, and none too healthy for people either. Scrapers, as the miners of Vishaka are called, must contend with scalding water, heavy metal poisoning, irregular tremors, and, of course, eruptions. Specially designed dive suits and vessels designed to scrape without people having to leave it alleviate some of the danger, but this has only brought the number of injuries, illnesses, and deaths down and nowhere near zero. Despite the hazard to life, limb, and liver, tens of thousands continue to come to Vishaka to make a fortune. Working for one of the outfits pays well and is generally safer, but independent prospecting means the scraper gets to keep all their riches if they make it back alive. All these people need a place to live and at least a minimum of amenities, and they find these on Kimber Station. After Vishaka was discovered by the famous Marinaut explorer Kimber Olamokan, it was the Strom trading fleet that initially invested in a small station in the waters around the planet. They got some company-employed miners and, importantly, a ballad array. While other concerns, both governmental and commercial, invested and grew the new community and the structure, the eventual collapse of the Strom fleet tore the heart out of both the funding and support for the station. Today, a fluctuating number of concerns maintain the aging station through a council of factors that have long been entrenched in internecine political and economic spats, leaving much of the station to be maintained by the increasingly independent people that live and work in Kimber. Never the Throes of Glory. The living twin to Vishaka is not an easy Leviathan to deal with. Its data ballad is infrequent, lugubrious, and curt, and its requested acts of kindness have never been easy and have only been getting harder. Worst of all, it is deeply stingy with regards to its obviously massive store of slurbrine, allowing only very small amounts to be siphoned after a great many difficult acts. The Leviathan clearly does not appreciate contact and appears to resent not just the mining of Vishaka, but any interference with it at all. Its most commonly requested acts of kindness is for mining to cease for a period of time and for any of the spoil to be shipped away entirely. Its attitude has earned it the nickname Old Man Rubble by the locals, who often mutter and curse about the grumpy giant that share their waters, especially lately as its requests grow harsher and it offers less and less slurbrine. It has reached the point where local officials are beginning to give up on the relationship and not completing most, if any, of the acts of kindness. Curiously, the old man doesn't appear to belong to any dynasty, but like anything to do with Leviathans, this is hard to confirm one way or the other.
That's absolutely brilliant. I love that. Especially the grumpy Leviathan. That gives
Old Man Rubble.
Old Man Rubble. That's so good. Yeah, no. This is fantastic. This is wow. Neurons firing. This is
oh dear.
This is really good. No, they're supposed to.
Oh good. Oh good. Yes, you're right.
No, this is really great. It really fleshes out some of these human Leviathan interactions, which I think is really interesting because it's not just as easy as, do some cool stuff and I will give you my goo all the time, right? Like it's not always like that. Maybe the Leviathan, like you said, maybe doesn't appreciate that happening.
Maybe just wants humans to bugger off. Like, what do you do? What does a Leviathan do when it doesn't get what it wants? Even when it's just a commensalist.
Yeah, absolutely. Clearly just doesn't is not very helpful, which is, yeah.
But what if it feels strongly and strangely about a sister planet thing?
No, that's
Get
great.
off my lawn. Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
That was the entire source of this whole notion, was just the idea of a grumpy old Leviathan going, get off my lawn.
like Gran Torino.
Yes.
Have you seen that movie?
I have.
Good
It's
movie.
I think it's the best thing Clint Eastwood's ever done.
Almost certainly. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, not a great
Yeah.
guy in his personal life.
Yep, nope, I don't believe so. And I like the Blue-Eyed Stranger trilogy, but
Yeah.
Gran Torino is fantastic. Complete aside, what have you got for me? And if it's a Western
What's the
themed thing, I'd be
deal with
really,
the
really excited.
apocalypse? Oh boy, you're going to be so disappointed. No, it's not Western. I want to talk to you. I want to describe a little section I like to call "What's the deal with the apocalypse?" The main source of light in our stellar system is waning, experts proclaiming it could extinguish completely within the next 3 centuries. Wars are brewing across the celestial deep, strange cults and doomsday religions are blooming across countless worlds, stations and vessels in perpetual orbit around the luminous void. The ants are hungry, the Leviathans are turning away from the affairs of mortals. The cosmic order is crumbling. There's nothing funny about that, is there? Paradoxically, within the last few centuries, humour has become something of a cultural force in the deep, a reaction to the rising anxieties of these end times. Joke-telling, humorous story frameworks, as well as a galaxy of various comedic art forms have taken hold in the public consciousness of almost every world. A good jest, it has been said, can be the difference between a successful business deal and finding yourself drowning outside of a closed airlock. Good humour is a sought-after trait in romantic relations as well as friendships and mercantile pursuits. Scholars speculate that the fading of the light, the constant scrambling for resources, and an uncertain interplanetary future created the kind of conditions where people can be drawn to either panic or laughter. Though many find solace in the grim prognostications of deep clerics, priests, and madmen, the multicultural stellar society has largely turned to mirth as a methodology for living in interesting times. The most fashionable among these trends is the Banguwa, a rambling satirical play performed by a skilled performer, the Banguwagi, and their 2 assistants. The stories are often told from the fictional perspective of the Banguwagi character, usually an everyman figure embodied by the performer, and are structured in 3 distinct acts. These are the flub, the trust, and the fall. The flub sets up a humorous situation in which the main character commits a grave mistake, thrusting their life into some kind of chaos. Often, these start as unsubtle criticisms of world governments, the Corwood Pacts, outer treaty worlds, particular cultures or practices, specific politicians or political movements or the like. Often, it is clear that either the main character is the cause of their own failures, or else that they are trapped by a systemic framework of their society. Next, the trust. The trust engages the protagonist with a helpful scheme or the friendship of a kind stranger, which appears to assist them in their difficult time. Here, events spiral out of control as each good deed or instinct is rewarded with more and more outlandish consequences, eventually culminating in the character losing something vital to them. Skilled Banguwagi weave humour throughout the act, while less adept practitioners often rely on puns, visual gags, and light slapstick to get laughs. The fall is the final act in which the performer reaches the climax of their woes. Every choice they have made has been humorously bent to disadvantage them, and all their friends and allies have turned out to be either malicious or merely hilariously incompetent. Many of the most proficient Banguwa actors instill a sense of sorrow in their audiences. Tears are not an uncommon reaction in this part of the show. At the end, when all appears lost, the Banguwagi pushes their luck one more time. In most cases, this is related to a previous event or idea set up in the flub or the trust, and succeeds against all odds. While the Banguwagi is telling their story, a solitary presence on the stage, his 2 assistants, always named Daybreak and Nightfall, move among the audience and add their own opinions about what is happening. Daybreak always has a positive word to say about the situation and the character, while Nightfall will often disparage the Banguwagi's actions and cast aspersions on their character. Before the fall resolves, both Daybreak and Nightfall leave the theatre and enjoy a ceremonial drink. Traditionally, they do not see the end of the show. Some famous performers and show themes include Barok Gawaga's Interworld Interests, a tale of a down-on-their-luck bureaucrat embroiled in a mafia-style conspiracy, Ligoa Rux Ruxin's Street Merchant and the Ant Smuggler, a love story which acts as a biting criticism of the Mantaram ruling class. A recent work making its way through the celestial deep is Liu Gunshao's Perilous Love Border Crossing, an interesting personal account of interspecies love and betrayal. The celestial deep is dying, that much is clear, but its inhabitants aren't on the whole dwelling in despair. Rather, they are trying hard as they might to focus on the everyday follies and absurdities of life.
I adore just how much effort you've put into that story structure. It's very little commedia dell'arte and or no theatre stuff.
I based it on, and I'm sure people more familiar with the art form will see some similarities in. I based it on the Japanese comedic art of rakugo, which is it has, I think it's like about 400 or 500 years old, the practice, and it's basically stand-up comedy, except it's not stand-up comedy because they're sitting down. They sit down on a little cushion and they present a particular, they've got like very few props, like a fan and something else, or chopsticks maybe, and they tell a funny story about their life. And I was watching a great mid 2000s Japanese drama called Tiger and Dragon about a yakuza who wants to stop being a yakuza. He wants to become a rakugo performer, which is very, very funny. And I thought to myself, this is it. This is the cure for despair. It's structured humor. That's what it is.
I would say that there's elements of commedia dell'arte in there too.
Yeah, absolutely. That was also on my mind at the time.
And the fact that humanity does, in two wildly disparate places and cultures come up with the idea of structured comedy says something about humanity, I feel. And I think you've touched on that by adding it to the deep.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One of the things that I wanted to sort of underline with this one is we did say early on that this is going to be like we're in the end times, but the setting itself is uplifting in some way, right? Like there's terrible things are happening, but people are not giving up on the whole. Some people are giving up, but there has to be a sense of either hope or like just the
or making the best of things,
And I thought, what better way to illustrate that? People, going to comedy shows and laughing about life.
Yes, but comedy shows that are also specifically designed to allow you to feel some sorrow. That's one of the things that really touched me about what you wrote about, was that it's funny. It's got a little Charlie Chaplin in it too, where yes, you laugh and you laugh and you laugh and you realize that, oh my goodness, I'm this person just for a moment, and you feel genuine and real empathy. And having a shared experience of laughter is great. Having a shared experience of sorrow can also be just remarkably cathartic and help keep a society and its individuals from going completely bananas.
That idea of like, we're all in this together and we all have shared experiences of failure, for example, right? And that it is very easy to see yourself as the common factor in all of your follies, right? Because you're there having a bad time. Every time you're having a bad time, it's you having a bad time, right? So
it must be you. Yeah.
You're the common factor.
Yeah.
You know? And sort of like making light of that while also highlighting that, perhaps we are trapped in systems that make everyday life difficult and making good choices hard.
It's also in some ways, and just this is part of the game designer brain of me, is thinking that the Banguwa sort of structure and idea is a allegory for the hero, Marinaut, main character, player characters, that something will go wrong, they will do a whole bunch of different things, and inevitably there will be many failures, and their allies will betray them or cause them problems, but then hopefully in the end they get to laugh, which of course Nightfall and Daybreak will never get to know because they've bugged off for a drink.
That's right, because it's almost time for World War Words.
World War Words.
World War Words.
Bye. World War Words.
We are back now from World War Words.
We are bloodied, bruised, but not beaten.
Things are coming out of us.
Liquids mostly.
There's some solids and gases out of Aaron.
Well, I'm just trying to communicate with the ants.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Tell me.
All right.
Wow me.
So, speaking of ants, I wanted to expand upon the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement.
Brilliant. Let's do it.
The Optimals were once the terror of the deep, travelling far through the waters at speeds no human vessel has ever achieved. That speed was necessary, as the existence of the Thalasurge was not even guessed at for most of their distant rapacious history, and long-distance travel was achieved by the Optimals entering hibernation and entrusting their vessels to their non-sapient lessers. After the creation of the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement, and there being little to no need for distant travel, investigation into the phenomenon, which had not progressed far, was abandoned. However, the dimming of the luminous void has changed that calculus entirely. The Optimals were aware of the change in their source of their heat and light long before the humans with their dim minds and senses, and the same kind of scientician that once changed a society utterly with some well-placed pheromones began to apply their significant intellect to this new existential problem. It was here they first had to learn from humanity, the secrets to the data ballad, the Slurbrine ignition drive, and the thalasurge. Though this was, at this stage, just part of a great search for solutions and was largely undirected, until the recent revelation that a great many of the Leviathans intend to leave, which implies a destination. The scienticians of the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement have gambled that the decline of the luminous void and the upcoming departure of the Leviathans are linked, and furthermore, that the Leviathans are going somewhere where there is another source of light and life, far away in the bitter dark. So they plan to follow. All of them. The entire artificial planetoid of the Abulex complex chemical system arrangement. They're going to need a lot of slurbrine and more than a little luck.
That's really good, man. Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah. Well, he had such a great, super strong idea to start with, and I thought, well, what's their future going to be? Are they a declining society? No, bugger that. These are far too determined and intelligent ants.
Yeah, no, and I like now that you've put a natural source of conflict into this that is beyond humans just trying to ruin things for these ants. The ants now need more slurbrine, right? Like they need to do something about this problem. Yeah, this is great.
And they don't have existing relationships with these great Leviathans.
No,
and they're still learning this stuff from the humans, who they largely and not incorrectly believe up to this point were savages and barbarians, far below them.
Oh, man. That's really good. Wow. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, I could see there's a whole campaign notion in that.
This makes me very embarrassed for my next Ant which is also about ants.
No, don't. Your ant ideas are fantastic and great.
This one is worse. I'm sorry about it. So I'm going to tell you about this.
Please.
So it's got to do with Kimber Station, okay?
Oh, yes.
The people of Kimber Station are wild about one delicious snack. Ant are made from the ground-up bodies of the repulsive fist ant, found in small, highly mobile hives, themselves orbiting both Vishaika and Never the Throes of Glory. The ants are small but very tough and must be thoroughly ground up into a fine mince to be usable as food at all. They are wrapped in thick seaweed and garnished with peppers, often served piping hot from an oven and covered in dolphin milk cheese. Enchiladas are a small regional snack which is seen as rather odd and unsavory by most outsiders, but to the people who call Kimber Station home, they are a point of pride. In addition, finding and dispatching repulsive fist ants is always a good idea, as they are able to do significant damage bumping into the sides of small craft with their hard, clenched bodies.
Are you at all planning to draw a fist ant?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome, because I really want to see a fist ant.
Yep. It's
a repulsive fist ant.
The repulsive fist ant. Yeah.
Is it just physically repulsive, like socially repulsive, or is that it has some sort of like repulsive?
I think that humans generally just find ants repulsive, and then names that they tend to give them tend to have like abominable or repulsive or disgusting in it, or things like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They're just in my head. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Like it. All good.
Brilliant.
Beautiful. Well, speaking of sort of like fun little but important details, like I intimated during the Fable Fodder, I've got a little bit on the masks of the Banguwa. Yes, of the performers of the Banguwa. The Daybreak and Nightfall characters have set and defined masks with very little regional variation. Daybreak's mask is a smooth yellow oval with the eyes and mouth the same small white circle, and equidistant between them in the center is an 8-pointed star with 4 long spokes at the cardinal points with shorter ones between. Nightfall's mask is a pitch black star, just like the center of Daybreak's mask, with the same white circles for eyes and mouth. Each Banguwa story has its own unique mask, although many Banguwagi often add an element to each mask that is their own and becomes their calling card between different performances. Despite this immense variation, there is a representational mask of the Banguwagi, which is a simple blue circle, same white circle eyes and mouth, with a pair of white eyebrow raised in the center in an exaggerated expression of concern. The 3 masks together are used as a symbol to represent not just Banguwa, but has also come to mean a safe expression of opinions and emotions and resilience in the face of adversity. Counselors and therapists might put it in their office, while political movements and politicians put it on their advertising.
That's great. That's a really good expansion. Yeah. And I'm getting visuals, which is fantastic.
It's, you added masks last time, and as I said, I think it's such a great way of adding things to our unique setting, or setting to make it unique. And then as you're describing these three things, I'm like, no, first things first. Again, it's that commedia dell'arte sort of background and a little bit of the sort of the alternate Japanese theatre, that they needed some set masks that told people that these are who they are. And
yeah, brilliant. It's like recognizing a clown.
I'm a little tempted to actually have a go at representing the masks myself, given that the shapes are so simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron has no visual art skills whatsoever, but we'll give it a crack.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is all we can do. This is all we're doing. We're trying new things. We're making art, and sometimes that art will be good. Sometimes it won't
sometimes it'll be absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
but that's all right. It's all art.
Yeah, it's all
made
art.
by people, and not.
And it's the process. I think
graphic.
That's important.
Yes,
I mean the end result. The end result is really important as well.
It is. Yes. Yeah. It's good to have a final result.
You know what I don't like? I don't like people who are like, it's traveling. It's all about the journey. Those people, I don't know what they're on about, because the journey part, I think they mean it in a metaphorical sense. I just realized, I think just for the first time in my life, I realized they might mean it in a metaphorical sense, because in the literal sense, being on a plane for 12 hours really sucks.
It's pretty miserable.
I don't feel like I'm learning new things about myself.
Definitely metaphor. What have you got for me, Chris?
Something about never the throes of glory. I don't know if you like this part. It's only my part's a bit short this time around, but let's see. You wove this really interesting story about these two celestial bodies, which I thought was really interesting, and it really worked visually for me. Yeah, I thought I'd just expand that a little bit and see where we go.
With more than just orbiting fist dance.
That's right. Never the Throes of Glory knows something about Vishaika that is obvious to a Leviathan, but insane to a man or an ant. It is the secret truth of all worlds in the celestial deep, the reality that not only do some of them harbour and sustain life, but that they are on some level alive themselves. There is no way for a human being to dwell in the sprawling mind palaces all Leviathans inhabit, or perceive the higher reality which acts as their real home away from the messy physical realm that is the deep. As beings of a more pure order than flesh and blood mortals, their forms in that endless domain are glorious to behold, as are those of the planets. There, expressed beyond the crude senses we operate under, each thing is its true shape. A world's history, its future, its temperament, ability, or willingness to hold mortal things secure against a crushing endless ocean, all of these aspects bloom and expand forever on some distant plane we can never touch. But never the Throes of Glory has been here for a long time. It has seen Vishaika's past and its future. It has seen its primordial form, as well as the pebble it will eventually wear down to. And never the Throes of Glory has loved Vishaika this entire time. It accepts the temporary arrangement with humanity, but knows it can wait it out until the luminous void blinks and mankind disappears. But in its way, for never the Throes of Glory, Vishaika will always, has always, will always have been there.
You're halfway through it, and I was like, I'm really hoping this is a weird love story with a rock. And I was so delighted that is exactly what it was. And it's a great. The thing is, the way you've written it, man, I'm a little bit moved. I think it is a cool love story with a rock.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just thought, why is he there? Why is he doing this stuff? I wanted to. I know it's difficult, but I wanted to humanize him a little more, because you humanized him, I think, quite a lot with like giving him like his reluctance to give up, his slur brine, and being a bit of a bastard. And I thought, but why? Let's humanize him a little more. Let's. Yeah.
Is this because we talked about Gran Torino and now sort of Never the Throes of Glory is actually played by an aging Clint Eastwood in our setting now?
Yeah, with tentacles. You were talking about the personal weapons in the deep. And you wrote, at the end you wrote, of course, there are some strange things that marinauts discover and recover from the outlier stations. I've got one paragraph. It's a little bit vague, but I just wanted to put it out there. One of the odd exotic weapons recently discovered orbiting a completely flooded outlier station named Gavios has only recently been recognized as such. Initially, archaeologists assumed it was a ritual item, as the weapon, nicknamed the Lady, is outwardly a statue of a full-grown woman. The statue's head is featureless and oddly elongated, ending in a kind of spiked crown. The woman herself is dressed in robes. While examining the statue, the only depiction of a human anywhere in or around any of the outlier stations, the research group underwent the process of a rapid evolutionary cascade, similar to the effect of ingesting large quantities of slur brine. Only one of the researchers, a woman named Dealey Stirp, came out of the lab without being turned into a meat and bone milkshake. Her fate, sadly, was worse.
Oh, okay.
But I will not expand on it.
Nope. Aside from turning people into milkshakes, you could also just like poke somebody with the pointy end, the crown bit, and that would
possibly could.
I mean, that's a sort of weapon, isn't it?
I'm envisioning like it's a type of radiation, basically.
Yeah, I think we're going to
it.
do some myth information before we're totally done.
We do have to do some myth
and we
information.
jump to conclusions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do myth information. I'm ready for myth information. I'm ready to myth inform you.
Myth information. All right. Here are my 3 factoids. You get to decide which one is true. Orcadia Prime has been struggling to deal with the actions of a vigilante operating in its largest city. Identifying them has been difficult as she doesn't wear a mask. The practice of celestology is the prediction of a person's future based on the alignment of the known worlds and is popular and entirely inaccurate. Though, by adding the outlier stations into the complex equations, has begun to result in some incredibly accurate prophecies. The recent discovery of a planet with an extinct population has revealed a deep-traveling civilization centuries before anyone else. I do mean to say a deep-traveling human civilization.
This is 2 lies and a truth.
That's right.
And I pick the truth. Could you tell me the second one again?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the name? Sorry, the name of the...
Celestology.
Celestology. Okay, it's going to be the second one. It's going to be the second one. I love the second one. I feel like we've already established that our people are a deeply superstitious lot. Stinky Earth 3000. They believe in all kinds of mumbo jumbo and nonsense, and this works. And it also works with this cool, interesting idea that the outlier stations are something other than random junk.
Yeah. All right, cool.
This is great, man.
All right.
Yeah, love it.
Beautiful. All right, hit me with your 3, my friend.
I'm going to hit you. Okay.
Please don't hit me. Sorry, go on.
All right. Number 1. There exists a planet named Stinky Earth 3000. It is inhabited by a people who are altogether unhappy with the name, but constitutionally bound to bear it. Do you like that one?
All right. Yeah. Hold on. That one. I'm good. Please continue.
Number 2. The great Leviathan never in a million years caused the industry of the sicklehead moons to pivot from slurbrine ignition drive construction to paper manufacturing.
Okay.
Number 3. The equivalent of coffee in the celestial deep is a parasitic bean harvested from the underbellies of atrocious angle slurp eels.
Right. Okay.
I mean, they're all bangers, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is fun. These are all little like story seed ideas.
Yeah.
Although admittedly, the first one may not be the most serious of campaigns.
Well, you don't want our players to go to Stinky Earth 3000 and find out why it's called Stinky Earth 3000. This is a great mystery.
It was named by a 6-year-old. Not that much of a mystery.
No. It was named by Captain James Stinky Earth in the year 3000. Okay.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think the one that intrigues me the most is the second one, is the idea that there is a Leviathan called Never in a Million Years, which is a great name for a Leviathan, and that he has decided that no more slurbrine unless you stop making ignition drives and start instead making paper. There's something about that says to me like, no, don't worry about going anywhere. Just start writing shit down because you're about to go.
Yeah, that's a great interpretation. Cool.
All right, cool.
All right. That's it, man. Jumping to conclusions. It's time to jump. I love to jump, but I don't.
Conclusions. Jumping to conclusions. We've got some basic meat and potatoes stuff with our basic weapons, but then we've got this ancient ant Eldar society thing is very cool.
Thank you. No, look, I really liked the stuff that you did with Kimber Station and Never the Throes of Glory. This has made me think a lot. Like, this is good sci-fi, I think.
And if I was going to like write a TV show, I'd start it in something like this, where like one of the main characters grew up on Kimber Station, and it would be all, rusting old habitats and creaking noises and corrupt council members. And
chomping down on an ant chilada.
Honestly, I really like that edition. It's good stuff.
God, I wish I got paid for this.
It immediately made me think, gosh, I mean, the vast majority of meat is going to be fish meat. Virtually everybody eats white fish meat. There'll be a few people who can afford to have sort of the red meat on any mammals that might live within the cave systems, but there just can't be enough of them to make that a regular thing. So the other meat is ant meat. And yeah, I can see that being a, like, my God, how poor are you that you can't go and get a fish? Yeah. Well, we live in an ocean with heavy metal poisoning.
Yeah, that's it. And also, I introduced the idea of dolphin milk cheese.
Yes, you did.
So you get to, in our cool setting, you get to milk a dolphin if you want to.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And does imply the existence of an entire range of dolphin dairy products.
Yep. Loving it. I actually don't know. Do dolphins have nipples?
They must do. They're mammals. So
I'm going to look this up. Dude.
Careful.
I mean, it's perfectly natural for a man of a certain
that is the kind of Google
search
search that can get you into some serious trouble in a hurry.
Yes, dolphins have nipples, but they are specially adapted for life underwater. Instead of being external, the nipples are inverted and hidden inside 2 mammary slits. Whoa. Learning is disgusting.
When it comes to biology, frequently, yeah.
All the ants canonically have breasts.
Except, no, wait, monotremes don't use nipples. They just sweat milk because they're weird.
So like us. I mean, it's perfectly natural for a man of a certain age to sweat milk.
Start sweat milk, yeah, for sure. One of my favorite episodes from season 1 in Haliacon was where we did that talk about propaganda, and we both ended up expanding on like writing and plays, but we'd already done a whole bunch on music. So one of the things I think that's interesting as we're creating our setting is that we do like to expand on these bits and pieces. And I think you've done like a lot of good little bit of research to make this detailed comedy style. Like I can see it happening. Yeah, it's very cool. I can see a theater with the 3 masks over the
Waluigi,
or a pub that's got nailed in one corner. There's a small platform with the 3 masks over it because they have amateur nights where people go up and do Banguwa. And it's a great name too, Banguwa and the Bangawagi.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I just thought that sounds like something.
It automatically sounds like a comedy show.
It's got a bang and a wah.
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 Banguwa.
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 You know who I like? Waluigi. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy fucks.
He's got the purple outfit, so I'm always approving. So
yeah, that's really cool. I like his moustache. Yeah. I wish I could make my moustache do that. I think we've done it.
I think we have. I think we've done a lot, and I think it's been good stuff.
I think it has been good. Yeah, this is another great episode, which I think will be quite easy to edit. It is indeed time to say goodbye. Thank you so very much for listening and sticking by us through Season 1, which is complete for you to listen to, along with some amazing supplementary material, as well as Season 2, which is happening right now. It is happening to you. We are making it happen to you, to your ears, to your ear holes. Take a look in the episode descriptions for useful information. Click the link to hire Aaron as a dungeon master if you are in Adelaide, or if you want to take him away with you to a creepy island. He says he doesn't want it, but he really does.
does. If you want more of what we make, including getting episodes earlier than the unwashed masses, as well as other audio goodies, please support us on Patreon. Even a measly $1 makes a difference. All those pennies add up like in an episode of Inspector Gadget. Some mistakes happen, my friends, but these ones were on purpose. Thank you very much.